You're listening to Podcast PXN,
a video game podcast,
delivering a player experience news.
Let's go! What's up, guys, and welcome to Podcast PXN, episode 286. I am one of your hosts, Daniel Prindle, aka Dan is DTM on Twitter, and I am joined over Discord by the returning Nintendo aficionado and hardcore casual himself, Roshan Warner, at Roro.
Hello. Or should I say, where's Kirby say? Pollo. Hi, I guess is how he says hi. I'm so excited.
Oh, and why are you excited, Ro?
I won't say it.
We'll find
Wait
out.
until later.
We'll find out. And we are also rejoined by the host of Large Popcorn and video producer at The Gamer, Christian Macias at ISO. Christian.
I pressed the C button,
God.
and now I'm in the
Jesus.
That's crazy.
Incredible. Got a nice virtual background with Luigi. All right, and the reformed Tarkov Teletubby and my fellow Spartan, Gage Dempster, at Gilbo Biggins.
reporting for duty, sir.
Eddie's soldier. Thank
game.
you.
That is?
What? Who is it?
Who's that?
Oh, yeah.
Who's that right there?
That's Dan.
That's who we all report to duty for.
That's
I know.
Dan right there. You're pointing at Dan in Discord. You're pointing at Ro on the stream.
You're gonna go to hell for that. They're not gonna let you in.
You were pointing up.
It's true.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're playing with fire.
I don't play with fire. I play with water. Thank you to everyone watching us live and participating in chat. Just as a reminder, we are live each and every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on youtube.com/@podcastpxn and twitch.tv/podcastpxn as well. The topic of the show this week, guys, is the Nintendo Switch 2 reveal event. We got all the details on the hardware and games announced as well. So, without further ado, shall we jump in? All right, let's jump in. I was expecting everyone to scream, "Yes!
Yes!
Just kidding.
Let's go.
All right. So here we go. Nintendo Switch 2. We got to look at it, all of it today. I'm going to go down the line of this IGN article. I don't know if they put this in order or not.
Hey.
What?
You want to talk first impressions?
Sure. What are your
General
first
thoughts?
impressions, Christian?
I was so sad that I woke up because these things are early on the Pacific coast, right? So I had my alarm go up at 8, and I was gonna get ready to watch it, and regrettably, Dan decides I'm gonna start spoiling everything that's in the show on the Twitter chat. And so all I'm gonna do is turn off my alarms, and boom, I'm getting messages from Dan. So that kind of took some of the sting out of watching the reveal.
I
of
didn't
the
know
direct.
that. If you would have told me, I would not have. I didn't know you weren't watching.
Hold on,
I
Dan.
just at 6 a.m. I just think it's manners not to, you know what I'm saying. Go ahead, Gage.
It's not 6. First of all, it's not 6 a.m. for everybody. Second of all, listen. There's a boomer answer coming your way, but unfortunately, it's the right one. If you don't want it spoiled for you, you know what you do? You don't open up Twitter.
I didn't.
day
I
that
turned
you
off my
know that
alarm.
there's
Why
an
would I open up
announcement-
Twitter?
That's how you said he spoiled it for you.
How do notifications work on iPhones? Tell me.
Swipe away.
Where do they go?
Swipe away.
I see. I read my name. I'm like, okay, he's talking to me about something. Christian must see this, and okay, here we go. Little spoilers.
I apologize, Christian. That was not my intention.
I'm giving you a hard time. I'm just giving you a hard time. Other than that, I thought it was kind of underwhelming for the reasons I'm sure we'll talk about with the specifics of the news that Dan has probably pulled from various articles. Everything that came out after regarding pricing and the way some of the like releases and pretty soon here like tariffs. Tariff pricing is going to get introduced at some point. All that stuff is kind of a huge bummer. I don't know if I'm completely sold on this being a day one or even like launch window or even year one purchase for me. I legit don't think so. I don't know how you guys feel.
I'll get mine out of the way quickly because I'll just do the first impressions. I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty, but there's the actual hardware itself. I think is pretty impressive for an upgrade, or sorry, for the what would you call it? A sequel to the Switch. I think it's like a decent upgrade in terms of specs. But some of the software stuff is really rubbing me the wrong way, and we'll get into that later.
First impressions of the Direct were fairly positive. Like I left it happy, and I think it was like the rollout of the news afterwards that kind of like brought me down a little bit to like reality. But the actual Direct I enjoyed watching, and then all the announcements and the the little stuff like, oh, this is what the Switch Joy-Con could do, and like it's not anything crazy, but just me, I enjoyed watching it.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of in the middle of you guys, because there were some moments that I was like, this is really awesome, and there were some moments where I was like, all right, this is really not awesome.
Yeah,
so it's
some
like
weird choices.
Yes, yeah. So I definitely fell somewhere in between, but I did fall somewhere in between enough to say, just in case, I made sure my Nintendo Online membership was current, because that's part of the stipulation if you want to order direct from Nintendo, which I think that that is one positive, is how they're handling pre-orders for their site specifically. I like what they're doing with that, which we will talk about as well. But let us run through this IGN article here to kind of consolidate everything here, because God knows I would not remember everything that I saw. So
There's a lot.
It was a lot, yeah. All right, so let's start here. Nintendo Switch 2, we have a release date, price, hardware information, features, and accessories. So let's start here. They revealed that the Nintendo Switch 2 will officially be released on June 5th, 2025, and it will cost $449.99. Of course, the price didn't come until after the event was over, which I find a little bit odd. And they also announced that there will be a Switch 2 plus Mario Kart World bundle that will cost $499.99 US, which I guess I will go ahead and address since it's right there. Mario Kart World is the name of the new Mario Kart game.
Interesting to note here that there is a separate SKU being sold in Japan only for this. That is $350, the equivalent of $350 US. That is a Japan only SKU. Sorry, Japan language only model. The ones around the world are multi-language models. Home base gets a little perk.
Yeah, I saw Shuhei was reacting to the price of the Switch 2 in Japan, and he's like, wow, that's actually really good. So,
Affordable.
Yeah. And we also got information that pre-orders are beginning on April 9th. And as we talked about a little bit before, invitations to sign up for early pre-order information for their website specifically will go out on May 8th, 2025, and will be prioritized on a first-come, first-served basis to registrants who have purchased a Nintendo Switch Online membership with a minimum of 12 months of paid membership and a minimum of 50 total gameplay hours as of April 2nd, 2025. So a pretty cool perk for people who are actually playing said console and want to get the new one.
I like this a lot. I think we've seen this become more common over the last few years with scalping and companies trying to sort of fight against that. Anything that looks at how long your player profile has been since it's been created and how many hours you have as a measurement to like who can buy this and who's going to use it. I like that. I like this stuff a lot.
I'd almost, and I agree with you, I almost wish that they also had another option, like, 150 gameplay hours, but you don't need the Switch Online membership, like something else to like not force feed a membership cost, I guess. But
totally fair.
It is very cool nonetheless. What the fuck? How do you have that picture? What the fuck?
Don't worry about it.
Incredible.
More about
it.
All right. So, going into a bit of the hardware information here, Nintendo Switch 2 has 4K support when using the dock, HDR, Joy-Con with mouse controls, 256 gigabytes of storage, red cartridges, and so much more. The Switch 2's actual screen will be 7.9-inch LCD screen that displays games at 1080p as opposed to 720 on the original Switch. And the new dock will also be able to output video up to 4K resolution and play games up to 120 frames per second, which I will believe that when I see that, because I think the current gen consoles struggle with that even, so...
This isn't in the article, I think, but the Switch 2 uses... Oh, wait, it's right underneath. I'll stop talking.
Okay.
Can I say something?
Yes.
About these specs real quick?
Yeah.
I agree with you, Dan. That was my first reaction as I was thinking of gaming, because it is a video game console where I'm like, we're jumping the shark a little bit with what we think this thing can actually do. But at the same time, for somebody who wants to use this as their one sort of system for playing games, watching movies, streaming, the 4K support 120 is appreciated. Even if you're not playing the next Pokemon at that 4K 120, it's nice to have that as an option for the people that maybe just buy this Switch and use that as their everything device on their main TV.
That's fair.
I think hell's gonna freeze over before you see a Pokemon game running at 120 4K.
I think hell's gonna freeze over before you see a Pokemon game run at 60.
Yeah, that's fair.
Let's hit some targets first before we start shooting for the stars.
Right. The new Joy-Cons will also have a magnetic snap, similar to the original models in look, but the magnetic snap is a little different with the SL or LR, SR, whatever those buttons are. I think they're metal, so those are actually what magnetize to the console itself. The right Joy-Con also includes a new C button, which will work with the new online feature called Game Chat, and you can read about that below. I will, IGN. Thank you. Yes, and this console will also have red game cartridges, 256 gigs of internal storage that can be expanded with new micro SD express cards. So you will have to buy new micro SD cards for that to be supported, and spatial 3D sound and more. So before we get into the game chat, any more comments?
Are the express version of these cards, is it faster read speeds?
It is, yes.
Yeah. Bummer though that like normal SD cards are just straight up not compatible on this hardware.
Yeah.
When the Switch uses it.
And the Switch 2 is backwards compatible, is it not?
Yes. Yeah. You can transfer your data. I know they said that. I don't know how that'll work, the specifics of that, but like still.
If you've got a bunch of Switch 1 games on a micro SD card, right, and it's Switch 2
and I do, compatible,
it would have been nice to just, hey, because they could have done the Xbox strategy, right, where it's like if you want to play new games, it has to come off of a newer one, a solid state drive. If you want to play old games, it's got to be hard drive. They could have done the same thing there, but
for sure. The Express cards can reach 900 megabytes per second read speeds, which is very fast.
There's the 3D audio is something I'm curious about, which I think we'll talk about when one of the peripheries down below. So I'll wait to say my piece until then.
Okay. And so that C button is for Game Chat, which is Nintendo's new solution to playing with friends. Game Chat is the new online feature that allows players to talk with one another while playing Nintendo Switch 2 games. Once Game Chat is activated, players will be able to press the C button on the right Joy-Con to not only start chatting with friends, but also share their screen. Use video chat with Nintendo Switch 2 cameras, camera accessory, or other compatible USB-C cameras. That's interesting. I didn't realize that. And Game Chat will be free until March of 2026 for all Nintendo Switch 2 users, but then will require Nintendo Switch Online for members after that.
Terrible.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember, does Xbox and PlayStation still require memberships also? I can't remember if that...
To do what?
No. To
For
like talk and stuff, join a
talking?
party? No.
Okay.
No. You can use Discord for free as well.
Gotcha. Right.
On those platforms is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Yes, that's not a great look, and Nintendo's kind of fallen behind on that in general for the past 10 years, I feel like.
Yeah. At least they have it now, but also when they showed off the video clip of them all sharing their screen at the same time, it looked awful. It looked
Pretty bad.
I don't want to
Very
watch
slow.
anyone's gameplay if it's like that. I can't believe that wasn't an official when they were showing off the 4K images, or I guess 1080p images of Mario, like they did like a side by side of like 720 versus 1080, but they both looked terrible. It was super
Right.
pixelated.
That was a terrible way to demonstrate that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yes.
Would you rather have a less pixelated shitty? I don't know.
It's less pixelated.
Yeah.
Now with
$100,
less
please.
pixels.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess more pixels, right? That's how that works.
More pixels. Yeah.
Right. Yes, that's true.
And then I think this blurb. I don't think this doesn't appear later, so I might as well talk about it now. There is also a new feature called Game Share that will let users share a game with friends who do not own a compatible game, so they can play together. Which I do think that is cool. So if you have like 3 friends that come over and you all want to play the same game, you just share the game out, and all 4 of you can play from one copy. So that's actually pretty cool.
It's like a DS share.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was gonna say. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. They used to do that on the DS.
Oh, interesting.
Like
It's like
Mario
Mario Kart.
Karts, yep, and the Mario mini games and stuff that you could play on those like 2D games. Yeah, just game share.
Very interesting. We've got some comments in the chat here. Kirik, 629 Canadian for the system alone. That's insane.
We're cooked.
That stings.
Pat Nat says.
Remember,
oh, sorry. Yeah,
we don't have to buy it.
That's true.
We don't gotta.
That's true.
I gotta stay current with PXN though.
Yeah, I mean, we all stay current on the most up-to-date games and don't ever not finish them, right? I mean,
who's that a shot at?
Myself.
Oh, okay.
Dan has beat Tears of the Kingdom like 5 times.
I have not. No, I still haven't beaten it.
I know.
God, yes. Pat Nat says, it was so funny seeing the camera and microphone being presented as a groundbreaking hardware, even though it's straight up ancient at this point. Yeah, that's totally fair.
That's one of the things I was going to bring up right now here in a second. Yeah.
And to be honest, I don't understand why the fuck they need a add-on camera. Like, you could have included the camera in the device and it would have worked fine, because the way that you have your console standing up, like if you're going to play it like with friends, a group of friends, it's going to be pointed at you. If you're holding it, it's going to be pointed at you. Why wouldn't you just fucking put the camera in the goddamn device? That makes zero sense.
Because you might like
But this way,
it depends on how you put your console on your shelf. You know, like you can't like not everybody's going to have it the same way is what I'm saying.
Right.
If
I
it's
guess
on the system.
if you dock it, yeah. I was
Yeah.
thinking if you were using like
On the actual
handheld.
handheld? Oh, okay.
Yes. Yeah, but
Okay,
you're
yeah.
right. You're
Sure,
right.
yeah.
Docking would present an issue.
now we get to sell you an extra periphery.
Exactly.
That's true.
Exactly.
That's what that USB port was for on the top. It wasn't to help people charge their console while playing. It was actually for the camera.
Selling the webcam.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so true. I didn't get the name of the person who mentioned that, but like Nintendo has been doing this for a while with like the Game Boy camera, and even before that, there was something else, another add-on for these. Like the 3DS had an extra analog stick, and they're presenting like, "Oh, check this out! This is crazy!" And it's just like, yeah, everything has this now.
Right.
So at a certain point, you're just like, yeah, you look like you're just a little bit behind on the times after a while.
We didn't even talk. It's an LCD screen.
That's
right?
true. Yeah.
It's true.
The OLED model will be coming at some
It
point.
will. Yep.
Especially for the price point. That's yeah.
Mhm.
Which $499. That's the same cost as your PS5 and Series X. That's crazy. I don't. All right. Keurig says the real question is because the camera is USB-C, will it work on a computer? Maybe.
Nope.
It's probably not going to be, knowing Nintendo, it's not going to be a really high quality webcam though.
Right.
So I don't know. All right. Nintendo Switch 2's accessories. We got to look at a brand new Pro controller, camera, and more. There's a new Pro controller for $79.99 that looks very similar to the original Switch Pro controller, but it does come with an audio jack, the C button for game chat, and 2 extra back buttons, kind of similar to like the Pro controllers on both Xbox and PlayStation have those back buttons.
So this is what I want to talk about. Because the console is using a microphone on the hardware. So if you're playing docked and using game chat, I guess to talk to your friends on the Switch, it's going to use audio from pretty far away. You know, most people are sitting up far from their TV, around 6 feet, I think is about the average. Like they did talk about how it has like great, you know, it's using technology to kind of reduce noise with like someone was blending in the background and there was like music playing and supposedly it's isolating that and just picking up the voice. I'm not betting that's going to work as flawlessly as they presented in the direct. So I think a great answer is just that, yeah, include some kind of audio jack in the controller finally, for you to hopefully use some third-party hardware and just use that to talk instead. Not that many people are using Nintendo Switch to be chatting anyway, because it was a pain on Switch 1, but you know, Switch 2 could change that. I would have liked to see more of a redesign with the Switch 2 Pro controller, especially considering it is a Pro. It is a nice addition though that they have the back paddles, and then again, very curious to hear how 3D audio is going to be utilized. I know the Joy-Cons had like the HD rumble. Not many games used it, to be honest. I can't remember any of them being like super, I don't know, revolutionary. So I'm wondering if there's going to be any software that'll utilize both the new HD rumble and then some of the 3D audio and with the Joy-Con and this controller. We'll see though. I don't know.
We will see. The new Switch 2 camera, which we just talked about, will be $49.99. So you can watch your friends creepily while you're playing. We also got details on other accessories, including the new Joy-Cons, which... oh, wait. The Joy-Con 2. I'm thinking that means... Oh, the set of them. Okay. $89.99 for the set of 2. The Joy-Con 2 charging grip for $34.99. The Joy-Con 2 strap for $12.99. Joy-Con 2 wheel for $19.99 for 2. The Switch 2 dock set, if you want an extra dock, for $109.99. the Switch 2 carrying case and screen protector for $34.99, the Switch 2 carrying case for $80, and the Switch 2 AC adapter for $30. That's a lot of shit.
That's a lot of stuff.
Yeah. And then we get into the meat and potatoes of the show, which is the games. Nintendo Switch 2 got some first party games that we got to look at. Christian, one.
I'll wait till we talk. I'll wait till after.
Okay. So we got to look at Mario Kart World. Anybody excited for Mario Kart World to be able to drive everywhere?
Oh, I think the kind of battle royale mode is kind of interesting. I say battle. It's my analog. I forget what the mode was called, but like you start with 24 amount of people, and it's one continuous race, and like you drive from one location in the world to the next, and when you complete that lap, if you're behind a certain amount of people, you're eliminated. I think that mode could be pretty fun. It's a great way to utilize the whole world they've built. I would have liked to see a bit more shown off, but again, I think they said there was going to be like direct just on this game, I think next week. So I think it's a pretty cool first look. Very interested in some of the like mechanics they showed with like grinding and then wall jumping, going inside of a truck. I don't know what was going on. Peach changed clothes during a race. It was a cool outfit. Yeah, I think it'll be fun. I was kind of impressed by like the way the water looked. This isn't as much of a graphical showcase as I was hoping it would be for a Mario Kart game, for a Switch 2, for a launch game. But some of the effects did look really nice. Much better than Switch 1 software. So, yeah. Not enough to convince me to buy it on day one.
Yeah, I think that maybe the graphical stuff was maybe held back a little bit with making it more of like an open world type of a map. So that is an interesting choice for sure. And yes, that direct for Mario Kart World will take place April 17th at 6 a.m. Pacific, 9 a.m. Eastern. So we'll see more there, I'm sure. And Knockout Tour was the name of the mode you were talking about, Christian.
Thank you. Yeah, should be cool.
Very cool.
And free roam, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, the photo mode.
Photo mode with the gals.
Is Rogue
and you could play as like I think it looked great. Like Christian, I think the pricing is the only thing that's stopping me, obviously.
We did talk about that. That's right.
We will talk about that.
Yeah.
But in a perfect world, obviously, it would be a day one buy if money was an issue, obviously. But if money was an issue and it looked bad, that's what we're talking about. How it looks, and it looks good. I think it looks like a good game worth money. I don't know if the asking price that they are asking is how much it's worth, but we'll talk about that later. But I liked everything that they showed off with the characters, with like we're such random characters, like the penguin from Mario 64, like just random enemies, the Goomba. Like I like how much they're adding in the character select side of things, and as Christian mentioned, the mechanics with the wall jumping and like the airplane stuff. I guess in the direct we'll see a little bit more hands-on, but as a first look, I thought it was really good.
Yeah, let's just go ahead and talk about the price right now, which is
Whoa.
Okay.
This is coming off the backs too of like there's a lot of discourse with the new Sonic racing game. I don't know if you guys remember this from like a couple of weeks ago. I know Sega was talking about how like they want to like surpass the likes of both Mario with their regular Sonic games, but also like their racing game. And there was a lot of people in the Sonic community being like, Cross Worlds looks really, really good. Mario Kart's gonna have to do something like to surpass this, and I think this game pretty much oozes confidence and style, and I think that's a huge plus for Mario Kart. It kind of needed a little bit of a shakeup, I guess. I loved 8 Deluxe, but also we got so much of it. And it like, it has been X amount of years since Mario had like kind of Mario Kart got some kind of shakeup. And this is that. I think the map design looks really cool just from the snippets we've seen. But like you're about to say, the pricing for these games is not very friendly for the wallet.
Yes, not at all. And it's very confusing how they're laying this out because they're basically saying like all these games have different prices and we're going to basically decide what you're going to pay for these games, which seems a little crazy to me. But Mario Kart World is one of the more expensive games and will cost $79.99. Of course, that's higher than any current gen regular edition console game, which is surprising that Nintendo is kind of leading the charge on that, and makes me a little worried about what the next couple of years looks like from Xbox and PlayStation. Are they going to start pricing their games at $79.99 as well? Because that's a large, like we went how many years before we went from $60 to $70, and now we're already going from $70 to $80.
I believe you misspoke, Dan, because that price point is for the digital only. If you want the physical version of that game, it's $90 USD.
Wait, it's more expensive for the physical version?
Physical versions of these games are $10 more. And then I don't know if this article mentions it, but some games are key cards. So most of like the third-party games that are ported over Switch 2, you'll buy the physical cartridge for $80 or $90, and then it will not have the actual game on there. It's a key card to download it from their shop. So it's a piece of plastic that gives you the license. It is DRM. It is, none of the shit we like to see.
I could be wrong. Maybe the information is there. What Christian said is correct, but I think the third party games aren't $90. Like the Street Fighter ones. Like they're not
first party games.
Street Fighter 6 is going to be $90, man.
No, I'm asking.
No way.
No, it's not, right? That's what I'm saying. I thought that's what you said.
I don't think so. No.
Okay.
I may have misspoke. The first party games are $80 to $90.
Yeah.
80 for digital, 90 for physical.
Right.
The third party games will be, I'm sure, skewed at like 70, like they are on our existing hardware. But there'll be key cards. It's it's licensed to download,
which is still a problem. Yeah. Okay, but yeah. I thought I heard 90, but yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's
so. That means for people north of the 49th parallel that a standard edition of a Nintendo published game is going to be like $109.99 Canadian.
Yes,
and you'll like it, and you'll say thank you.
Which is.
Unacceptable is the word you're looking for.
It is unacceptable, but also what we have been paying, in my experience, for Nintendo games anyway. But it's obviously going to be more expensive.
But now it'll be more. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, it'll be more expensive. But yeah, when I get a new Nintendo game from the store, it's usually near $100, if not $100. But now it's just going to be even more expensive, which is, as Gage said, unacceptable. God damn.
That's crazy. Yeah. $90 for a physical, which, like, you would think that they would, I don't know. Why would you charge more for a physical? I guess I don't understand that.
I guess resale and trading and stuff. I don't know.
But they don't get any
materials. I don't know.
Right?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Interesting.
Okay, looks like Mario Kart World is the most expensive. There's another game on this list that is $10 cheaper for both SKUs.
Okay.
It's the next game on the list on this article.
And that next game on the list is Donkey Kong Bonanza, which is coming to Switch 2 this July. We got to look at it, and this is going to be an interesting one when we talk about our points for last week's predictions. It's a new 3D platforming action adventure game that sees Donkey Kong smashing through a new world, but it does have 2D sections.
So from last year, I think I predicted like we're finally gonna get a look at the Odyssey team's Donkey Kong game, which would be the 3D game. I didn't want to use that prediction again for this, That's why I did the 2D prediction. Like, oh, it's gonna be a separate game. There's like a new because I didn't think we would be seeing the 3D Donkey Kong game yet. But it's cool to finally see it. Very much looks like the Odyssey team's game. So that's exciting because Odyssey was fun.
Yeah, it looks cool too. I like the mechanics of Donkey Kong just smashing into the world and like picking up rocks that he smashes, and it looks very like gameplay mechanic wise looks very unique.
You know what they call that?
What's
Levolution.
Level. Jesus.
And that's the one it's 70 digital, 80 physical.
That's crazy. Interesting.
That's a lot of money, dude, for these games.
It is. I mean, I'm used to 70 now, but 80 is even more. It's just, and 90, fuck. It's just, ugh.
Yeah, Nintendo saw all those posts that people were saying like, I'd pay $100 for Tears of the Kingdom, and like, okay,
Right.
bet. And they did it.
Dan and I did this with our discussion with GTA. We're to
we
blame.
did. Yep. They listened to our discussion.
When Rockstar comes out and GTA 6 is $110 US,
Yep, it's
we're
our
not
fault.
going to hear the end of it. Yeah.
And it's worth remembering, like, Nintendo games don't go on sale and often appreciate in value with time. You're already sitting in real time with the next game, the first game in that series, I guess the only game in that series, is now over $100 on eBay if you want a copy of that game. That's just how Nintendo operates. So, like, maybe you'll get a $5 or $10 discount a couple years down the line, but yeah, otherwise you're gonna be paying full price pretty much at any time if you want to pick up a first-party Nintendo game.
Crazy. Glenn's screaming in the chat, that's okay, take my money, Nintendo, for Mario Kart.
Oh my god.
Don't enable them.
Glenn wants to pay him whatever he has in his bank account for Mario Kart.
Whatever they say.
You know what? All it's gonna take is one like bad night, have a couple of cocktails, and Gage will be like, "Let's get a Switch, dude."
No,
You're so right.
you know
And
what?
then we'll open up Amazon together and be like, "Should I buy it right now? Dude, get it right now. If you get it, I get it."
You
I
know-
can see it, dude. It's a narrow path that leads us to buying the Switch.
You know what it's going to actually take to get people to buy this? It's to
Okay.
release a sequel to a cult classic game called Kirby Air Riders, and it is a new racing game
Huge.
coming to the Switch 2, developed by Smash Brothers director Sakurai. Rose excited. Christian's
Yes,
excited.
so excited. Everyone should be excited.
Everyone's
I was bummed.
Delicious.
I got a peek at your guys' chat for this one as well because I didn't get the pop, but very cool. Very pretty teaser trailer too. Sorry, Ro, please you take it away.
No, there's nothing more I can say. It was like a nice CGI trailer to get us hype. Sakurai's name at the end. But yeah, I'm super excited. Like Sega, well, I don't know how when this did it say 2025 for this? No.
Yes.
It was.
It's
Yeah,
this year.
Sonic Crossroads is screwed, man. It's like it's dead. Kirby and Mario Kart are coming out this year. And they both
Real
look-
ones now.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna be
No,
playing.
no.
Yeah. But yeah, I cannot wait for this. I love Kirby Air Ride, as you guys know. I cannot wait for Kirby Air Riders and see how they like made that a little bit better. It's like if they, I'm sure they did, because there were some valid complaints about the original. I loved it, but I'm interested to see how Sakurai kind of changed it up a little bit.
All you need to do is just make another city trial online. You know what, Ro? If they do another city trial with this game, I might buy a Switch this year.
Mhm.
I take it all back. I might enable.
That's all it
Nintendo.
takes. Sakurai.
That's all. It literally all it takes. That game mode is so good.
You know what's funny? I've heard you guys talk about Kirby Air Ride so much on this podcast that as soon as I saw the little jet engine on Kirby's fucking star, I was like,
You
I
knew.
know what
Oops,
this
sorry.
is. And fucking Rose over there freaking out.
I'm so excited.
We don't deserve this, you know? Look at
really
those, look at those review scores. Like we don't deserve this. But we're here. We're getting it.
Sucker's like, it's okay. I'll let you have it. Rowan Christian, this is for you.
Thank you. For both of us.
And what else are we getting? We're getting Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom Switch 2 versions at launch, which I believe Breath of the Wild is $60 and Tears of the Kingdom is $70 for the Switch 2. They also did announce that there would be an upgrade path for people who own the Switch versions, but I don't know if they showed or released the pricing. Did they?
I don't think this. They did say that if you have Nintendo Switch Online, it's free.
Oh,
But if you don't have it, it costs money.
interesting.
Incentivizing you towards that.
Interesting. I mean, I'm of the mindset of why aren't we giving the free update for people who own the games?
They should.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh well. Maybe I'll finish Tears of the Kingdom on the Switch too. No, probably not. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond is getting a Nintendo Switch 2 version as well with mouse controls and quality and performance modes. The quality mode is 4K 60 FPS with HDR, and performance mode is 1080p 120 frames per second HDR. So obviously that's on docked mode because the handheld itself doesn't support that, but for people who play docked.
I need to know how these mouse controls work because my ass is not going to be playing a Nintendo Switch at a desk. You get me?
Yeah, and I think you'll have to have a desk to use the mouse controls.
Am I going to use it on my thigh?
Yeah,
Think that could work?
maybe.
What's little about your thigh, dude?
Come here, find out.
I could see Christian right now, his wall that's next to him, having the Joy-Con pressed against the wall and like doing this on the wall.
Dude, I was when I had WarioWare for the Wii, and all the other like games, like Mario Party games, you had to do like motion controls to like play the mini games. I was like so lazy. I figured out how to like trick it into thinking I'm doing the thing, but I'm like lying down on my couch, just with my wrist up. That's it, doing everything like this. I was scamming them.
Yes. Pat Nat was talking about he's extremely excited for Kirby Air Riders, and Sakurai has a vision. I'm ready. Yes. Breath of the Wild, $70. I think, did I say that? Tears of the Kingdom is... Oh, Breath of the Wild, 70. Maybe. Is Tears of the Kingdom also 70 then?
I would probably have to be 80.
Or 80. Okay.
If it's for the Switch 2 version.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
$10 more each.
Yeah. Icy Hot says $80 was $60 in 2017 for those complaining about price of games. I mean, that's fair. However, like the steep increase in prices that we've had, like we had $60 for 15 years or something crazy. And then we went up $10 to $70 not that long ago. And now this quickly, we're already up to $80. That seems a little quick to me personally.
I also want to throw something in there with this argument because I used to be one of these people that was like, oh, I used to say the same thing. Like games aren't that expensive nowadays because back in the 80s, it was also 60. There's an angle that I didn't consider until you just talking about this right now, which is also like economic prosperity was also a little bit different back then. Like the average family, I felt like had more wealth and had more buying power. So it's like, it's a bit different to see this sharp ramp up when the quality of living across most developed countries is like going down and poverty is increasing. Yeah. So that's the one thing I'll throw out there. It's just when people like to argue the semantics of when dollars were,
Yeah. Tuition, a tuition for a university was like $100. You can buy a starter home for around the realm of like $30,000 to $50,000. You know what I mean? Like right. Spending power is not what it was 30 to 40 years ago. That argument is like totally like goes out the window when you factor that in.
Yep.
the $10 jump was at the start of the new consoles, PS5 and Series X, and that was 5 years ago. Yep, you're right, Kirik. And another jump only 5 years later is crazy. Yep. Upgrade. All right. Let's see. Let's move on for more Kirby. Kirby and the Forgotten Land plus Star-Crossed World brings a new story to the Switch 2. It's getting another title in... Wait. Oh, I'm sorry. It's another title getting the Nintendo Switch 2 edition treatment, so there'll be an upgrade path, or it will cost full price for people, which I think this was an expensive game too, if I remember correctly, which I was like, that seems way too expensive for that, but maybe I'm crazy. But it comes with a new story mode called Star-Crossed World, which will include new mouthful modes to utilize. The game will also have improved performance when it arrives on the Switch 2 on August 28th, 2025.
I have nothing to say on any of the upgrades.
Yeah, me neither. Besides, sweet, I love this game, but yeah, the pricing is here or there. But yeah, love Kirby and the Forgotten Land, so I'm excited for new stuff from it.
Hell yeah! Just make sure you have a Nintendo Switch Online. You get your upgrade.
And
Yeah, pay them more money.
Which how does that work if you have a game cartridge and you're not online?
Great point.
I don't know.
You can't upgrade.
I guess not, yeah. Or like, but what if you do upgrade and then you say you're not on Wi-Fi? Like, what happens?
I really hope they thought about it.
Right.
I really hope they have the answer. Oh, man.
All right. We got another expanded version of a Switch 1 game, Super Mario Party Jamboree, coming to Switch 2 with mouse controls as well. It does have some new features and modes that take advantage of the Switch 2, one of which being the mouse controls as well as the built-in mic and the Nintendo Switch 2 camera. And alongside a new Bowser live game show, 2v2 experience, coming July 24th. And then Ro may be excited about this. Pokemon Legends Z to A will have a Nintendo Switch 2 edition, which will include improved resolution and frame rate as well.
This is like when t-shirts go on sale and they're finally at the price that they should be.
Oh man, I'll play the Nintendo Switch version. I don't need
That's fair.
it to be. I played Pokemon Arceus at launch. It's okay. It'd be nice if it ran well, but
For sure.
if the option is there to get the cheaper one, I will probably get the cheaper one.
For sure.
Yeah.
Any fans of Astro's Playroom out there? A pack-in game for the PS5?
I know what you're about to say.
Any fans of that? Well, this is a game that should be a pack-in game, and I'm not sure when Nintendo said that this is a paid game, I was like, what the fuck are you guys smoking? Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour will showcase this much anticipated next console. It looks to be an interactive and fun way to learn more about this new console and everything it can do. It features gameplay experiences and a model of the Nintendo Switch 2 and its Joy-Cons that teach players in a fun way. It will be available as a paid title at the launch of Switch 2.
Gene
That
Park
sounds so fun, dude.
It's so stupid.
Like, even if it
The
is...
video they were
No, go ahead.
the video they were showing of this was insane too, by the way. Like you want to read 8 slides of how the Joy-Cons work. Like that's not like a fun thing to do.
Right.
Or how to showcase that. You know what I mean? Like they had mini games, sure, but like most of it was just like these like little pop-ups that you can like walk up to and read slides. That's not fun. Gene Park shed some light and said how Reggie had to convince Miyamoto and Nintendo to include Wii Sports for free. back when that was releasing, because the model for them is that they don't believe that they should give their hard work away for free. But again, I mean, Reggie isn't in charge anymore, so
Right.
Yeah, this is absolutely something that should have been bundled in. And a lot of older consoles and Nintendo consoles used to do stuff like this. Like the PSP is not a Nintendo console, but they had like a welcome park sort of thing that was free, that was built, and it was pretty fun to explore, especially if you didn't have any games at the time. And the 3DS had like Street Pass, and it had like this Me Quest game that was actually really fun that I would play like through the entire time that I had it. I still have it, but every time I was playing it, like I would check in on it, and that was just a game that just came in with the console. They haven't listed a price for this, I don't think yet, but any price is going to be a little steep. But I think it should be said that they haven't put a price on it yet. But yeah, crazy that this isn't just like a thing that happens when you start the Switch and like, oh, do you want to learn more about the Switch? Yes or no? It's like it's crazy.
They should have taken the lessons from 1-2 Switch.
Yes. I was gonna mention that. Yeah, that's crazy. And that was also too expensive.
And even if this game is like the most fun game in the world, like what we saw is absolutely not fun. But even if it was super fun, like this is the perfect type of game to have as a pack-in game. Like there's no excuse for a $500 console to not have something like this. Like Astro's Playroom was fucking incredible, and it was a pack-in game. Why is that the exception rather than the rule?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Then we got some looks. I don't know why I said it like that. We got some looks at some third-party games, and one of those is Drag X Drive, is an online 3v3 game that puts the focus on Nintendo Switch 2's mouse controls, and it allows you to play basketball and control wheelchairs with... Is it the mouse controls that control the... I can't remember.
It is.
Okay, yeah. So it looks kind of interesting, unique. I don't know if it's something that I'll get super excited about playing, but it is unique.
This also looks like it should be a pack-in game. Like this is how you use the mouse controllers,
right?
And like it's a little mini game, but yeah,
sure.
That's right. You gotta because you like slide the
yeah,
which is cool.
And they were like waving their arms and they were like showcasing the team. Big ups for the representation on wheelchair accessible basketball, but also it just looks like arms again, which didn't do well, sadly.
It's all in the arms. Then we got to look at Nintendo GameCube games that are coming exclusively to the Nintendo Switch 2 via Nintendo Switch Online. They are exclusive to the Switch 2, which I find a little bit like... I think that those could have ran on the original Switch, but that's neither here nor there. These classic games will begin launching when the Switch 2 is released, and we'll start with Legend of Zelda, The Wind Waker, F-Zero GX, and Soul Calibur 2.
I'd argue it is here and there. It's a bizarre... You got like what a weird way to like convince people to buy the new hardware. Like you can only play GameCube games if you have the newest hardware, which can totally run on the Switch 1 just fine.
Right.
It is annoying, but I do love to see that GameCube controller come back. It's got a C button now, and an audio jack. I think that's cool, man.
Classic one of the purple
top 3, classic purple top 3 controllers right there, ever made.
Hell yeah.
I think this came before the Kirby announcement in the Direct, like the order. So when I saw this, like, oh, is Kirby Air right there? Is Kirby Air right there? And it wasn't. I was like, oh, dang. And then Kirby Air right there showed up.
Yeah, that's
okay, never mind.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's kind of weird that it's not on the Switch. I agree.
Bringing it back to pricing just real quick, Pat Knapp puts in the comments, he said, just to add to the price argument, $70 is a lot for an 8-year-old game. And regardless of inflation, I know I can't afford $80 for each game. I'll have to buy less, which is absolutely true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Breath of the Wild is a fantastic game, but it should not be $70 8 years after launch. That's wild.
We didn't talk, but I'm not a fan of the box art for like these like ports, I guess, for the Switch 2 versions of these games.
Yeah, I don't
Look kind
either.
of awkward. They look kind of awkward.
Yeah, like why do they have the red on the side? Like it looks goofy.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
It's like their Essentials catalog that they did for the 3DS. I think they did for other stuff too, but yeah, they just cover the box with unnecessary stuff.
I think it's just the fact that
right with the greatest hits.
What is
which
it?
is fine.
Yeah.
I think it's just for me, it's that, like it's off center. Like the box art is literally just shifted over to make room for this like red vertical strip. So now everything is like to the side. It's a weird ratio.
Yeah.
Right.
Out of balance. All right. Okay, now into more third-party games. Let's start us off with a game that I ruined for Christian. I'm sorry.
Oh
I do apologize for that. I genuinely was not meaning to do that to you. But we did get an announcement of the Dusk Bloods, which is a new From Software game coming exclusively to the Nintendo Switch 2 in 2026.
I cannot believe people are calling this slop. I think it's just the fact that it's multiplayer. It's a multiplayer focused title is why people are calling it slop, because we're getting Night Rain now, and now we're getting this, which is 2 multiplayer games back to back. But like I don't know. I look at that trailer, I guess teaser. Sorry. And it is still like the same like visually inspired design that they've always had. There's more info coming with an interview with Miyazaki because he's directing this game. And they're trying something new that's not like, I think if you're going to call a slop game, any FromSoft game, the slop game, it might be Night Rain, because like this is like them doing like a test bed for like a multiplayer focused kind of experiment. This is from the ground up built to be a PvPvE experience that is entirely separate from an existing world. Like this is a brand new IP that they're doing. The spiritual successor to Bloodborne, maybe you could argue that. And like the gameplay looks cool from the snippets, like the new characters, the moves that they were doing, the traversal, the environments, looks cool. A little bit sad that it's going to be a Switch exclusive and it's going to be 30 frames per second, judging off that trailer. But like, you know, they're working on a bunch of small projects, and it's cool to see new IP from them, no matter what it is.
Yeah, when I was watching this live, I thought either Bloodborne or Castlevania of some sort, and then you see From Software pop up, and I was like, okay, so Bloodborne something? I had no idea what was going on. I did not expect them to announce a Switch 2 exclusive game.
Yeah, it sounds crazy, right? And the funny thing is, I was rewatching the trailer a little while ago because I was watching it on my stream on my phone when I woke up. So I wanted to watch it on my monitor, and it's only available to watch if it's not on like an IGN or something. On an official channel, you can only watch it on the Nintendo YouTube channel, which means you have this tiny little like Mario watching you. It's the subscribe button, but like as you're you can't see as you're watching the rest of the trailer, like this like horrible like nonsense is going on. The little Mario in the corner. It's kind of funny.
Wow.
Like, am I gonna pay $500 to play one From Software game? The answer might be yes, but I don't want to. I'm gonna hold out as long as possible. Truth be told,
Right.
The National Weather Service has issued a tornado watch until 4 a.m. tonight. Sick.
Be safe. Be safe.
Anyways, all right. Back to it. So that wasn't the only FromSoft announcement. We also got the announcement that Elden Ring is getting its own tarnished edition on Switch 2 in 2025.
Horse armor's back.
It does include Shadow of the Erd Tree, though. That's pretty cool. I didn't realize that.
That is cool. Yeah. Which is... It's not a cheap expansion.
Right. But the game's going to be $90. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know how much this one is.
I guess it would be cheaper. Yeah, it probably around the realm of like 80-ish,
Right.
I'd gather. This would be one of those like key card games where you buy it physically and you have to download it once you insert it, which is annoying.
For sure. And that's going to eat your hard drive space or SSD, whatever, memory card space up real quick. All right. Then we got to look at Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment, which is a brand new Zelda game that is a prequel to The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom.
I never played the original Hyrule Warriors, but it's like a cool time period to explore. But again, it's a Hyrule Warriors game, so not everyone is going to be interested in playing that. But I think
For sure.
just like the previous one, they did like another prequel to Breath of the Wild in that one. And yeah, the stories are always really cool. It's just, I don't know, not my type of game, even though I like hack and slash. Maybe I should try it. I don't know. But yeah, they never really seemed like I would love them, I guess. But yeah.
I saw this trailer and I was like, is Dan about to get spoiled?
I actually thought the same thing. I thought that I was looking at a Zelda expansion for Tears of the Kingdom. And yeah, it was not that. But... All right. Keurig says, what the where's my Skyrim remake? It's coming.
Tomorrow.
Sometime, maybe. Deltarune's newest chapters will launch on the same day as the Nintendo Switch 2. So chapters 3 plus 4 will launch alongside the first two when the Switch is released on June 5th.
Beautiful. So quickly my smile faded to what came after it. I was like, oh, Toby Fox. And then Randy Pitchford showed up after.
Oh, fuck.
Okay.
We'll get
Dan
to
loves
that.
Randy Pitchford.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Unfortunately. Wait, I don't even see that in here. That's interesting.
Yeah, they didn't even include it.
There's something huge that they didn't. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. Oh, it is in here. It's just at the bottom. They put a whole list of stuff. Okay, whatever. All right. So yeah, we may have to add some stuff at the end here, but Hades 2 will be released in 2025 on Switch and Switch 2 before other consoles. Interesting. Will release before any other consoles, complete with a target of 60 frames per second.
Wow.
Target.
Doable.
Target. Yeah.
I hope it's doable. If a game like Hades can't run at 60 frames on the Switch, then I think just put your dreams to bed for any third-party game having good performance on the Switch.
Red
Switch
Dead
2.
2 on Switch. Hey, it's a PS4 Pro power. Don't forget.
It's true.
PS4 Pro. All right. Then we got a look at quite a bit that was announced. Before I go over this list, you said there's something big they missed, Christian.
It's on there. It's
on there.
It's under S.
Oh, I gotcha. Yes, I know what you're. Yes. Okay. So yes, just to run through this list, but I'll stop at a couple of them here. And feel free to stop me if you'd like as well. All of these games will be coming to the Switch 2 as well from all these publishers. We are getting EA Sports Madden NFL, EA Sports FC, Hopefully it's actually coded originally for the Switch 2 and isn't just a port of the same game over and over and over like they kept doing for a while with FIFA. Remember that? NBA 2K, WWE 2K, Split Fiction, which just came out. Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition, which I'm assuming includes all the DLC. Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, which is kind of huge. First time outside of PC and PS4, PS5, or PlayStation, whatever. Street Fighter 6, Sid Meier's Civilization 7 with mouse support. You know what that means. I think that was one of my predictions for beginning of the year predictions. I believe.
Game of the year predictions?
No. Beginning of the year predictions for 2025. I'm pretty sure that was one of mine. That a well-established PC game would come to the Switch 2 with mouse controls. I'm pretty sure that's in there.
Is that confirmed? You got mouse support on Civ 7?
Yes, they did.
Look at your little smile. I just wanted to say I just want to say that just to see you smile.
Hogwarts Legacy was announced for Switch 2. Bravely Default Flying Fairy HD Remaster. A hell of a name there. And then yes, of course, Randy Pitchford. Borderlands 4 is coming. Yeah, we can do this. Whatever, Randy. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3+4. Yakuza 0 Director's Cut. Fortnite. Enter the Gungeon 2. Hitman World of Assassination Signature Edition. When this one came up, I fucking popped in my cube at work, and then I realized they're just using the same fucking trailer that's already been used.
Yeah.
Which is Project 007 coming from them as well.
They got me too with this one.
Yeah.
I thought like, oh, are we getting more?
That's what I thought.
Yeah, and it was literally almost the exact same.
Yeah.
Like, okay, they're working on something 007. Cool.
Yeah. They could have just put a splash screen up and said all of these titles are coming to Switch, but
yeah.
Anyways, Starseeker Astroneer Expeditions, Damon Ex Machina Titanic Cyan, Survival Kids, Star Wars Outlaws, and I'll save that for last. Kunitsu Gami Path of the Goddess, Reanimal, and of course, we got a little look at Hollow Knight Silk Song, which has been reconfirmed for 2025 release date.
Yeah, 3 new seconds of footage. Enjoy it while it lasts.
It's real. It is real.
So they say. I don't know.
So they
Look
say.
fake to me.
There is a list of a bunch of games that are getting free updates for Switch 2, which I don't understand why some games are getting free updates and some aren't. But some of the bigger ones, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, Super Mario Odyssey, Super Mario 3D World, Zelda's Link's Awakening, Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe are some of the games that are getting free updates. Kind of goofy why only some games are getting free updates, but such is life, I suppose.
Dan, the last thing I had written down is that Nintendo switched its production from Japan and somewhere else to Vietnam to avoid any potential tariffs that the U.S. would impose. Unfortunately for not, because a couple hours after the Direct, the U.S. announced that it is set to impose tariffs of 10% on all imports. So the price for these games might just have gone up to about $88, $99, around that for us, for you and I.
And hardware, right?
And hardware, yeah, and the hardware.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's as if tariffs are a terrible idea because it's just going to increase our prices on everything. It's weird how that works. Fucking
You don't understand. You don't understand.
yeah,
We have to trust the president's instincts on the economy.
right.
Trust the process, Dan.
Trust the process of insanity. Uh,
Let's see.
one thing I did want to highlight as well. IGN compiled a list of games that has compatibility issues with the Nintendo Switch 2, which surprisingly has a lot of games on there, which I was kind of like taken aback by that, because like you would think that the Switch 2 being more powerful and all of that things would just like work better natively, but I don't know. Maybe I don't really know how their hardware is being made or anything like that. Maybe they completely changed some things which broke stuff for people's games. But like one big one, for instance, is Fortnite. So like if you play the Switch 1 version of Fortnite on Switch 2, apparently it is currently having issues, startup issues right now. Which that's like one of the biggest games in the world. So it's crazy to me that that would be on here, but there is a list of a ton of games on here. Which some of them
Mexican Train, Domino's Gold.
Some of them we expected. You know, obviously certain games are not going to work at all, like the ones that use Nintendo Labo and stuff like that. But like, I don't know. That seems crazy to me. A lot of these bigger games, Fall Guys, Alan Wake Remastered, Alien Isolation. That just seems crazy to me. I don't know. All right. So, you already talked about the tariffs, correct? Yes. Okay. All that being said, I want you guys to tell me your favorite thing from the direct before we, from the direct. Sorry. I'll tell you my favorite thing was Donkey Kong. I largely am not too interested in Donkey Kong necessarily as a character, but I think that a lot of the mechanics they showed off in that trailer looked really cool, and I'm really interested to see more of a deep dive on that game to see like how those mechanics work, and like if there's like some cool puzzles that you can solve by interacting with the world. And I don't know, it just seems really interesting how they're kind of combining like physically changing the map and world to like address your platforming needs, I guess.
You're a better man than me. You have an answer, because when you said that, my gut reaction was nothing.
Oh,
and I say that because so much of what was announced after entirely undercuts all the excitement for this hardware for me, which makes it hard for me to like convince myself that like to be excited for these products when I don't believe in sort of the marketing push behind them, or sorry, the fiscal push behind it. But if I had to answer something, yeah, I mean anything from software, I think is always fun because I think they make fun games. But again, undercut by that locked on a console that costs $500 and at 30 frames per second in 2025 is kind of hard to swallow. So,
and that's not coming till 2026 anyways, so nothing to.
So you know what? You're right. Mario Kart World looks like fun. If I was gonna want to giggle with a bunch of friends, I'd be doing that.
For me, it's Kirby Air Ride for sure. Kirby Air Rider. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, that one and Mario Kart is my close second, but definitely Kirby Air Riders for sure.
You're right. I should have said a Kirby Air Ride.
Mistakes were made. Gage?
It's gonna be Mario Kart World for me. I'm not usually a big Mario Kart guy, but with the exception of like if I'm at the arcade with friends in real life, then it's like the best thing ever. But This one looks fun. The up player count looks like chaotic and like crazy, and I feel like there's definitely like shenanigans that could be had.
Hell yeah. And you were paid off by Glenn to say that.
And I was paid off by Glenn to say that's correct.
All right. Any other gripes, excitement, anything else you want to say before we grade our predictions from last week?
Yeah, I sent this to Gage. Oh, go ahead, please. You first.
Well, Dan, I noticed a hint of a smirk when you said that because you're excited about your mouse pointer prediction.
No,
But
that's not in these predictions.
This is just the Nintendo Switch predictions that we did?
This is the ones we made last week. The one that I did for the mouse pointer one was our beginning of the year predictions.
Yes.
I'll just say that when it comes to one of my predictions, you can call me the Lisan Al-Gaib.
Stupid.
If it's probably the Bowser one.
It's not the Bowser one. I didn't end up doing that one, actually.
Oh, that's right. 2 years ago, there's an article that came out. Miyazaki was playing Escape from Tarkov for multiplayer inspiration.
Well,
could it be for this game? Might be.
Might be. All right. Let us talk about our predictions from last week then. Of course, we didn't have our Nintendo aficionado. We kind of decided at the last second to do predictions. I think we all kind of forgot about them. Christian suggested we do predictions, but yeah, me and Gage were like, fuck, what do we do? Because we were on. And then Christian thankfully sent his in as well to have some kind of sensible predictions here. I don't know. I feel like mine might not be very good. Well, we'll see. So my first prediction, Nintendo Switch 2 release date announced for June, like the leaks say, for $399 or less in the US. That did not happen. Unfortunate. My second prediction, a direct sequel to Mario Odyssey is announced for the fall. The title may not necessarily say Odyssey 2, though. That didn't happen.
No, we knew the Odyssey team was working on a Donkey Kong game, Dan.
We did, but I thought that they would have something else from another team. I don't know. Microsoft comes up big for Nintendo, announcing 3 games coming to either Switch or Switch 2. That did not happen. I would be willing to bet that still happens this year, but it did not happen at this event. For the final push of the Nintendo Switch, Nintendo announces Conker's Bad Fur Day is coming to Nintendo Online. Unfortunately, that did not happen. I'm sad about that.
Bro is Microsoft pilled.
I love Conker. It has nothing to do with Microsoft. That was a rare property.
Rare pilled.
I am, yeah. Back in the day, Nintendo 64. Come on.
I saw a photo shoot of somebody with a Nintendo 64 controller, and they were holding it not the way you should. And I noticed.
Gage took the inverse of my prediction, and it paid off for him. Nintendo Switch 2 releases in June, priced at $449 US or more. You got it.
Damn. I see a narrow path.
You got it. Now, this next one, he can go fuck himself for this next prediction because he said Mario Kart 9 is a launch title for Switch 2. Of course it was going to be a launch title.
Was it then?
Yeah, of course it was. We all knew it was going to be a fucking launch title.
I see possible futures all at once.
God. I was arguing with him last week about that.
I remember, and he was laughing before he even said it.
Yeah. So that's 2 points for Gage already.
Dude, hold on, I didn't tell you guys. While listening to Gage do his little predictions, I was like assembling a desk. I kept shaking my head, dude. When I was, Every couple of minutes, just shaking my head at Gage's little stuff he was saying.
Yeah.
I feel like someone named Bowser is gonna be here.
Yeah. Stupid. And that one would have came true too. Friggin'. But his last two predictions here did not come true, which are Metroid Prime 4 will be a launch title. It does not have a date yet. Still sometime this year. I guess it could theoretically still be a launch title, but I doubt it. They probably would have announced that. And then also a sequel to Animal Crossing announced. We did not get that either. And then we move to why did I want to say Christians? Predictions. Good lord. Twilight Princess HD announced for the Switch. That did not happen. P3 Remake and Metaphor announced for Switch 2. Did not happen. A new 2D Donkey Kong game announced. Close.
Did not happen. Yeah, close.
Then we got the crazy one. A new Mario Kart, new Mario, Metroid Prime Beyond, and a fourth first-party title all releasing before October 31st, 2025, which, to be fair, isn't necessarily disproven yet.
3 of those might be before October 31st, but there's no new Mario game, I think, this year. So
maybe there's still another event.
You're right.
You know?
Yeah, that's true. We'll see.
That might be just hopeful speak, but
it is fun that we got a new like first party title though.
Yes.
Something different, you know.
Yes. Do you guys want me to sprint through the quick bites, or do you want to wait on those until next week?
I'm happy to wait.
Okay. I'm happy to wait as well then.
Dinner.
Yes. Very quick fantasy draft check-in. There is no new news there. I don't think anything else released, so everything is still the same as last week.
Embargo tomorrow, I think, for South of Midnight. It's either tomorrow or Friday, I think is when that is supposed to be going up.
I thought it was next week. Am I wrong?
No, the game releases Tuesday, right? I think embargo is Friday or Thursday or Friday. So you'll be getting an update.
Yes, you're
for next week for South of Midnight.
Yeah, 9 a.m. tomorrow. Okay.
There you go.
Very interesting. I hope I don't regret it. All right, so stay tuned for that. Everything else is the same as last week. So let's move into what you got for me real quick here. We played Schedule 1 this weekend after I baked a cake. And you guys were playing it well before I was baking the cake, but that was a game. It was
don't get you came into that game with such bad faith. You were not trying a game. You zero effort. You came in and started killing civilians.
I was having fun killing the civilians though.
That's fine, but you were not engaging with the group.
That's fair.
We were trying to get our lab going, and this guy's just killing people. And
look at how he's sitting right now. He's got such bad boy energy.
We tried playing Ready or Not. He couldn't make it through the tutorial. Fine, his game was glitching, and he goes, "I'm trying to refund this game."
Dude, that game was broken.
Oh, man.
That game was broken as fuck.
That's fair. But guess what? Schedule 1 was working as intended.
I will admit, as soon as I closed that game for the night, I looked at my playtime and it was over 2 hours, and I was like, well, I guess I'm keeping this game.
We should keep more games. It's my take.
Yeah.
We should play more Schedule 1. That's my take.
Yeah, and Repo?
Repo. I'm down for that. But anyways,
I think, if I can add, my one gripe with Schedule 1 is that I think it takes a little bit too long for things to get going. I think if it was a bit easier on us to like get the organization that we built up and going, and make all our strains to sell. I think I'd have a bit more fun with it. If it was a bit more, I guess, like arcadey, like a plate up, that could be fun. But like, I looked at the updates that are releasing this week for that game. Like, oh my god, like I haven't even seen so much of what this game's depth has to offer. Like, it gets really, really crazy. There's automation in this game by like hiring people to like, mix for you and cut for you, and like this game does get to that level. Just kind of we got to get there. And I'm kind of excited. I want to see some of it. It looks so fun.
And it's probably hard to get there when someone's spending all your money at the casino.
Yep, that was Dan.
Wait, what? I was going to say that's Garrett.
Garrett was making profit. Garrett was making
money.
Profit.
I don't know.
He was being reasonable with what he was taking out, and he was letting us know what he was taking out and what was going back in.
Garrett and I went out to dinner, and he was laughing because every time that you would go to the casino, you would hear from your mic, "Oh no."
I'd
winning
win
all our money.
I'd win one game of blackjack, and then I'd be like, you know what? Should I put $200 down? I will. And then I lost.
Yeah, can I say?
Yeah.
As somebody who sat on the table next to him, I went in with like $400, and I was like, I'm gonna bet 20. I'm gonna bet 20. I won one. I was like, oh, maybe let's bet 40. So the first round that I bet 20, I see Dan's betting 100, and he loses that hand, and then he says, you know what? Should I do this, Gage? And I said, what? And I see him up his bet to like $300. I'm like, no, you shouldn't do that.
That's our money.
That's our money gone. That's the communal money.
Gage spent the whole day with his trash picker thing that he bought, making us money. And he has, before he's able to use the ATM, Dan kills him, and all that money is just gone. And that was our night. Just Dan killing people and hindering our progress. And this guy has the audacity to come in here and be like, yeah, it's a game.
It's a game.
One of the games of all time.
One of the games.
Get out of here.
One of the games. Ro, what you got? Help me out here.
Can I help? I've only been playing Everhood 2. Yeah, so just still chugging along on that, but slowly but surely. Good game though. I'm liking it.
Oh yeah.
I agree with your Twisters rating, by the way.
3 stars, yeah. It was a good flick.
Christian?
Man, we talked about Schedule 1. I think that's all.
That's
all
it.
we kind of played.
Okay.
I will say I started watching The Pit on Max, I guess. What a show! What a show!
Huh? What's
It's
it about?
not video game related. It's not video game related. I just wanted to say, watching The Pit rocks.
What's the 5-second synopsis?
It's like 15 episodes of like a trauma hospital in Pittsburgh. And every episode is like 1 hour in like these doctors' shift. So it starts at like 6 a.m. whatever. It goes all the way. It is intense. It's pretty fun.
But is it like an actual show for grown-ups, or is it like the melodrama where it's like we've got?
It's a show for grown-ups.
Okay,
it's not like a Grey's Anatomy. No.
Lynn's watching that right now, and it's rough seeing that on the TV all the time.
The Pit or Grey's Anatomy?
Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah, I know.
I've got a surgery, but prom's tomorrow, and also I'm pregnant.
Gage, what you got?
What do we got? We got Schedule 1, which I'll just briefly say is a lot of fun. And what else? We played Ready or Not. We didn't. Well, I mean, barely. I am willing to give the game another try. I will say I was not immediately grabbed. My game didn't break at all. The tutorial worked flawlessly, but I still wasn't. I've played other sim shooter games that felt a bit more. I don't know. I'm willing to give it another shot, but I'm not necessarily hooked. That might be a refund game, if we're being honest. Schedule 1 is not a refund game. It is great. And what else have I played? I thought about playing Avowed again, but I didn't. So there's that.
Good for you. Congrats.
No, not good for you. It's
You're a
fun.
good friend.
Get the fuck out of here. Ready or Not. That just reminded me. Ready or Not, the fucking part where I kept getting stuck, I had to literally murder the NPC to reset the fucking room every single time it was broken. And that's what was pissing me off. So then, of course, when I go into Schedule 1, I want to murder everything because the game Ready or Not trained me to. So I'm going to blame Ready or Not for that. You see?
You got Mac a little cake.
You
A
see?
little cake making.
No, you see? That's...
I thought about Gage this weekend, if I can say something real quick, or this week.
Please.
I had to play more Assassin's Creed for guide stuff. I'm about like 35 to 40 hours in that game. I'm gonna put it down. I'm not gonna finish the story. I'm kind of checked out. And I thought about him because you can like sheath your weapon, and Naue will like quip, and it's typical like first party kind of, or not first. It's like third party quips. You know what I mean? Like that kind of HR writing. It's my father taught me well. It's like, okay, well,
and it's like what, of the 3 times you sheath your sword, she'll say it twice. Like it
it's one of those. It's one of the ones. There's like 4 or 5 things she'll say. And that's one of them. My father taught me well. Okay.
My father taught me well that the end of the episode is here. So, thank you again to everyone watching us live and participating in the chat on YouTube and Twitch, as well as podcast services everywhere, including Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, Spotify, and everywhere else you get your podcasts. Thank you, Ro. Thank you, Christian. Thank you, Gage. I am Daniel, and this has been Podcast PXN, and we are out. Much love, and keep on gaming.
See ya.
See ya.